What if the exhaustion that you're feeling from dating apps isn't a personal failure? What if it's a feature of the system itself? I'm a doctor of neuropsychology who has spent years working with marriage-minded women who are doing everything right. They're successful, attractive, emotionally intelligent, and still end up in the same cycle. Strong start, intense connection, then there's ambiguity, then ghosting, and then we start all over again. One client came to me after about 4 years on apps. Every relationship followed the exact same pattern. She tried everything: professional photos, rewording her bio, taking breaks, expanding her range, even lowering her standards. The problem was not lack of matches. It was a pattern that she couldn't see. The turnaround came when she stopped asking, "How do I get chosen?" and started asking, "How do I evaluate whether this man can actually build the life that I want?" That shift changed everything. Today, I'm going to show you why dating apps are not a neutral environment. They are a business, and the business model is not built around you finding a husband. Today, I'm walking you through exactly how the system works against you and what it's doing to your brain and the mental shift that changes your results without deleting your apps entirely. I'm Dr. Anglero. Let's get into it. Dating apps make money through monthly subscription, boosts for priority, visibility, premium upgrades. Their ideal paying customer is not someone who leaves in 2 weeks because they found somebody. It's someone who stays engaged, keeps swiping, and keeps upgrading. Here's the part most people don't think about. If two people meet quickly, fall in love, and prematurely leave the platform, that app just lost 2 paying customers. From a business perspective, a married couple equals 0 recurring subscriptions and 0 engagement. So the apps reward behaviors that keep you on the platform. People who swipe often, respond quickly, and spend more time inside the app get rewarded with more visibility. The apps are visually front-loaded because attention is their #1 priority. What gets rewarded is novelty, visual appeal, instant chemistry, and flirtation, not the traits that predict a stable marriage. And they don't want users to become exclusive because exclusivity means swiping stops, and that drives down the value of the business. Think of it like this. Imagine a fisherman throwing a 2-mile net into the ocean and hauling up to see what came in. It's long and laborious. What we want instead is for you to specifically set up for the thing that you're looking for, so that you're not hoping to catch a tuna, you're actually fishing for one. The app is not your ally in this process. The moment you understand that, you stop measuring success by match count and start measuring by what actually predicts a lasting relationship. The brain adapts to its environment. Dating apps combine unpredictable rewards, constant novelty, social comparison, emotional uncertainty, and rapid decision-making into one highly stimulating loop. Not knowing when that next match is coming is the same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. The hit doesn't come every time you pull the lever. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That unpredictability is actually what makes the behavior so hard to stop. The apps are built around this on purpose. Over months and years, the brain starts to get trained to make very fast judgments based on photos, texting style, and how exciting someone feels immediately. The problem is that the traits that actually predict a good marriage, integrity, reliability, emotional consistency, and accountability, are slow to observe. You can't see them in 6 photos and a bio. So the brain gets better and better at noticing things that make for exciting but unavailable partners, and less able to recognize those things that actually matter. A lot of women notice that emotionally stable men start to feel a little flat. No butterflies, no spark, but that feeling is not a compatibility signal. It's what happens when your brain has gotten used to the chaos and calm starts to feel boring by comparison. Healthy relationships are not boring. They just feel different from what apps have trained you to chase. The difference between these two groups is not looks, it's intent and behavior. The marriage-minded man is selective rather than impulsive, slower to escalate emotionally, and more intentional in how he communicates. He's less performative, and he's more grounded and consistent than he is flashy. He may have a strong career, real values, emotional maturity, but you can't see integrity, consistency, loyalty, and how he handles conflict, and how he treats other people from 6 photos and a bio. The apps are not set up to showcase those things. The other type of man is optimizing for volume, high volume matching, fast emotional escalation, charm, and ambiguity. He says emotionally compelling things quickly. He creates intense chemistry. He mirrors what you want to hear. He is likely maintaining multiple conversations at the same time, and the apps reward this behavior because it keeps engagement high. Historically, if someone behaved badly in a community, there were social consequences. Mutual connections would see it, and reputations mattered. That accountability has been almost completely removed from online dating. People can ghost, breadcrumb, love bomb, disappear, and reappear with essentially no consequences. That's not a coincidence. It's part of why the apps work the way they do. The loudest men on apps are not necessarily the best long-term partners. Marriage-ready men often require quieter, less performative, and they're underrepresented on the platforms entirely. A lot of serious men are burnt out on apps, and they're using them minimally, which means if the apps are your primary strategy, you're fishing in a pond with very few of the fish that you're actually looking for. If this is landing for you and you're ready to stop leaving this a chance, I work with marriage-minded women, identify their specific patterns, understand what's driving their results, and build a real system for finding a compatible partner. The first step is a consultation where we'll look at exactly what's been happening in your dating life and whether this program is the right fit for you. She met him through a mutual hobby. They spent months in the same environment, engaged in the same activity, around the same people. Through repeated low-pressure interactions over time, she was able to observe things you simply cannot see on the apps. How he treated people, how he handled stress, whether he was consistent or just performing, his patience, his social intelligence, his integrity. None of that shows up in a profile, but all of that shows up in real life over time. Around him, she described feeling calm, emotionally safe, grounded, not euphoric and not anxious, not obsessive. And she said if she had only encountered him online, she probably would have swiped past him because he didn't trigger that immediate rush. That rush is very short-lived. Once it fades, something real has to be underneath. If nothing is there, the next match is just a swipe away. And meeting someone in a real-world environment brings back something that the apps have removed entirely: accountability. If he behaves badly in a community you both belong to, people see it. There are social consequences. That used to be a natural filter. The apps replaced it with anonymity. You don't need maximum exposure to men. You need repeated exposure to the right kinds of men in environments where their actual character becomes visible over time. This is a completely different strategy. What do those environments look like? It can be faith communities, hobby groups, volunteer organizations, fitness community, professional networks. Anywhere you see the same people week after week and relationships develop naturally over time rather than through a curated online performance. Here's the pattern I see consistently. A woman matches with someone, attractive and emotionally responsive. Within days, they're texting constantly. They're sharing personal stories, talking late at night. And she interprets this frequency as chemistry, as a sign that something real is developing. But what isn't being evaluated in that dynamic is his actual relationship history, his emotional consistency over time, and whether his lifestyle aligns with hers. How does he handle conflict? What is his timeline for marriage and family actually look like? She is unconsciously scoring the interaction based on response speed, attention level, how good it feels to be wanted, and he may simply be lonely, driven by novelty or casualty, talking to several women at the same time. Emotional acceleration is not the same as relational progression. Apps amplify this confusion because they reward constant communication, chemistry, and rapid emotional investment. The app philosophy is, how can I keep someone interested? The shift that changes results. What evidence exists that this person is actually capable of building the kind of relationship that I want? That one question, genuinely owned, changes everything. It moves you from performing for attention to evaluating for capability. And that one shift protects everything. My client made that shift. She slowed the pacing down. We changed her screening conversations, and we changed how quickly emotional investment happened. The focus moved to consistency over chemistry. Within months, her experience on the apps felt completely different. Not because the apps changed, but because her selection framework had changed. That's what this program does. The apps are not broken. They're working exactly as designed. The question is whether the way you're using them is working for you. You're not too picky, you're not too old, you're not too successful. You have been using a system built for one purpose: to try and achieve something completely different. The women who find their husbands are not luckier than you, they're not more attractive than you. They are using a different filter. One builds around what actually holds a relationship together, not what makes it feel exciting in the first 2 weeks. That filter can be learned, and that is what this work is for. If this video landed for you, one more I want you to watch before you go back to the acts. It's called Why Smart Women Keep Attracting the Wrong Man. It goes deeper into the patterns driving your results, the ones that were set long before you downloaded your first dating app, and exactly what it takes to change them. I will link it right here. Go watch it, and I'll see you there.